I always get asked, where do you list your cars, D? A lot of you guys also ask, do you have to tell the buyer if it's a salvage car? I've got my phone with me right here and I'm just gonna break down a few prices. You guys know the full total price that I paid to get the car from Copart, and I just agreed to sell that car for 80. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a very different yet very exciting episode from Salvage Nation. Like the title says, I'm gonna be teaching you guys how to make bank, how to make money, the bucks, the Nero, whatever you wanna call it. I'm teaching you everything that I know, and I've also teamed up with several sponsors of the channel, and I'm putting it all into this one video. You're gonna be getting tons of discount codes. I'm gonna be dropping gems. I'm gonna show you a visual guide of how I go about navigating the salvage game, and I've got the perfect car to do it. I've already rebuilt the car and I've just agreed a price with a potential buyer that, trust me, if it goes through, I'm gonna be making bank, and I wanna teach you how to make bank. So if you wanna make some money in the salvage game, you wanna get started, or if you're a seasoned vet, trust me, there's gonna be something in this video for you. I wanna say thank you to all the sponsors who've made it possible to create this video, and I hope you get a lot out of it. And if you do, don't forget to press the like button. If this is your first time watching Salvage Nation, subscribe to the channel, because trust me, there will be more. But anyway, enough of the blabbing. Let me take you back to about a week ago and I'm gonna show you how to make bank. Let's go! This is a Mercedes B-Class B180 which I purchased from an online auction. I'll be giving you a full breakdown of the cost price, and at the end of the video I'm gonna reveal just how much I sold this car for, and like the title says, I'm gonna be teaching you throughout how to make bank. So, as you can see, the car looks clean, it looks amazing. I'm very happy with the way it came out, but as you know, this is a salvage rebuilding channel and this is what we do. The car didn't always look like this, so I'll be taking you back in time to 3 days ago when I took delivery of this car, and we're gonna be getting into it. But before we do that, I'm gonna show you how I went about getting this car and how you can do similar. So I'm kicking things off with the most important point. Do a history check of any vehicle you're about to buy. Before I purchase any of my cars, I use Car Vertical. You can use Car Vertical if you click the link down below. Use SN10 for a discount, but do a history check of any vehicle before purchase. So 3 days ago, I set it out to get a vehicle to make this video. I went over to Copart, which is an online salvage auction, and I used their vehicle finder to select a vehicle. I didn't know what vehicle I wanted, so I just selected category in, and I knew I wanted something quite new, so I went for 2015 onwards. I also went into the filters on the side, and I knew that I wanted something that was gonna sell, so I went ahead and I selected automatic because they're fast sellers. I wanted something that was petrol and they were fast sellers as well. Now, here's a quick tip. If you're looking for something quick and you want the logbook, just type in V5 on file in the search bar, and as you can see here, it filters out all the cars that have actually got V5 on file. Have a look at that. Now I'm gonna pick another one at random and I'll show you. Once you go into the stats and you check it out, it will say V5 on file and you will have the logbook straight away. If you don't get a vehicle with V5 on file, you'll have to fill out a V62 form, which can take up to 6 weeks, and that was too long for what I wanted to do. Anyway, I found a few cars and now it was time to actually go into the live auction. So I opened up the first auction and I added the second one where I saw 2 cars. Bearing in mind, I had noted down the lot numbers and the item numbers, and after that, it was just a matter of waiting in the live auction until these vehicles came up. Right, so after waiting and bidding, I came up with this little beauty, the 2020 B-Class that I told you about at the beginning of the auction. And have a look at how much I paid. That's right, the winning bid was only £8,500, and with all the fees it came up to £9,313.60p, but I'll round that to 9,400. The following day, I got the car delivered down to the garage. I always sort my own delivery. I never pay Copart for their delivery services. I use JA Transportation. If you want to have a quote with them, go check them out on Instagram. But as you can see, I've got the car down. You can see it in person. The interior is still very clean, but have a look at this door. It's a lot worse than I expected. judging by the pictures, and you can see there's some more damage along that entire side. I noticed that the door was chafing against the wing, so that's where I started. I wanted to get the wing off the car so that I don't cause any further damage to that door. Now, for all of you guys who are not familiar with this sort of work, most wing panels will have a hidden bolt hidden beneath a panel in the A-pillar. Always remove that panel and you will find the hidden bolt. There's going to be some further hidden bolts within the wing. If you give it a little tug, you'll feel all the solid points. That's a little top tip. Once you remove all the nuts and bolts, all the panels just come off. And another thing, guys, if the panel is finished, don't be afraid to give it a yank, give it a bash. I know it sounds silly, but it is finished. Get it out of there. Another thing with salvage cars, expect the unexpected. I knew there was some suspension damage, but I never expected the drive shaft to be gone. But anyway, I had one on layaway because I bought the complete suspension corner. I got that one out of there, I got a new one in. And now it was time to continue dismantling the front end on the car. As you can see, the front bumper is held together with a few screws at the top. And then I was able to turn my attention to the light. And this light was funny because it was just full of water, and I was really hoping to salvage some parts of it, but that's a no-go. Now, whilst I was down there, I noticed that one of the brake lines was broken, and it was broken from the metal section. You've got the rubber section and you've got the metal or copper section. As you can see, I'd say about an inch of it has broken off, and yeah, that's disaster. However, I've got a flaring tool laying away. If you remember, I'd done this on a previous build and I've still got the tools, so I was able to flare a new end and get that sorted. Have a look at it. So guys, at this point, I've only been working on the car for a few hours and I feel like I managed to get quite a lot done. So let's go over everything. I managed to get that wing off, the front bumper off. I managed to swap out that broken drive shaft. I got the wheel back on, and I also repaired the broken brake line. Now, everything that I've just mentioned, a mechanic will charge you upwards of 500 quid to do all of that, but I'm saving money by doing it on my own, and I've got the experience and the know-how to do so. Now, as you can see here, I'm pointing out that area where the new wing is gonna go. There's no damage there. So, because I knew the car was coming, I preempted everything. I bought a whole ton of parts and I had the parts waiting. That will speed things up, and as you can see, I'm getting the headlight out the box. But another thing with salvage, guys, you can always make mistakes. How many times have this happened to any of you guys who have done this before? But yeah, that is the wrong light, so off that goes. Now, as annoying as that was, I didn't let that deter me, and on I went by replacing that broken wing, and it's just a matter of redoing everything that I did before in reverse. All the nuts went back in, all the bolts went back in, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like right now. As you can see, I went ahead and fitted that new wing, and I also went and fitted a replacement front bumper, and I just lined everything up just to see how it's looking. Now, moving on, it was time to get the car into bodywork, and in the salvage game, guys, you have to get a good bodywork specialist. I use my guy Akil from Eagle's Garage. He's one of the best that I know. He's a top guy, and I know that he's not gonna mess me about. I know that he's not gonna try to rip me off. Right, so it's now day 2 on the rebuilding process of this lovely B180. And as you can see, my guy Akil went ahead and completed all the bodywork on the car. We got it in primer and he sanded it flat. And then we were able to move the car into the paint booth. Whilst he was doing that, I went down to the local breakers. I picked up a replacement headlight. I made sure it was the correct headlight. And by the time I got back, Akil had laid down a few layers of paint, left it. And this is now a few hours later and you can see how it's all come out. Once the paint had fully cured, it was time to begin the reassembly process. I replaced the windscreen trim before replacing the A-pillar cover and then the door handle. Always stick to your limitations, but the more you do, the less you pay for someone else to do that same job, if that makes sense. As you can see here, everything is working lovely and it was time to carry on. Now, if you've ever received a vehicle from any online auction, you're gonna get a ton of writing on the windscreen, a ton of stickers, and I hate it, it's annoying. However, I've come up with a little technique. I always use a really sharp razor blade to get rid of the top surface before wiping it with some paint thinners, and that tends to get the windscreen looking immaculate. If you remember, we had a broken brake line, so I had to top up the brake reservoir with .4 brake fluid. I did that, cleaned up everything, and that was good as new. And then it was time to fit the replacement headlight, followed by the front bumper. Finally, it was time for just the finishing touches on the front bumper, fitting all the grills, parking sensors, and ambient temperature sensor. All that was needed to complete the front end was the lovely little Mercedes badge to really set off that new paintwork. So it's day 3 on this rebuild, and the guys from LLO Parts has sent me out yet more parts that I needed for this car. And if you need any parts for your build, Mercedes, Audi, VW, whatever it is, head on over to LLO Parts, use discount code SN10, and I'm sure they'll be able to hook you up as well. As you can see, that's the new splash guard completely fitted for that suspension corner, and then it was time to get the car polished. This is fresh paintwork, and we're looking for any runs, any sort of defects on that surface. We're gonna sand it flat, and then we're using this buffing machine to bring it to a very good shine. And once it's all done, this is what it looks like. So guys, in 3 short days, I've turned this car from a wreck to something that looks amazing. It's gonna make a perfect family car for someone. It's got all the ingredients to make the perfect salvage flip. And I'm confident, and I was confident throughout, because I followed all the tips that I used in this video to make sure that I'm coming out on this end happy, knowing that I've made a safe investment, knowing that I've made a smart investment, and knowing that this car will sell for profit. Speaking of which, let's break it down and let me tell you how much I agreed to sell this car for, and I want you to tell me what you think in the comments down below. Salvage Nation. We love the Beamers, the Benz, the Porsches, all of my fans and other supporting staff. So guys, there you have it. As I sit down and I'm just basking in the ambience of life, I'm just going over everything that I've done with the lovely B180. It's actually gone now, and I just want to break it down for you. If you're wondering why am I at the beach, this is one of the reasons why I've not been posting regularly. Is because I'm making a massive kind of personal move. I'm moving towards the sides of Brighton, but you'll see more about that later on. Another thing, I always get asked, where do you list your cars, Lee? I list them all the normal usual places: Facebook, eBay, forget that, Facebook, eBay, Auto Trader, all the usual places, guys. But a lot of you guys also ask, do you have to tell the buyer if it's a salvage car? Trust me, from my own experience, if you don't, you're just setting yourself up for disappointment. And if you've got a registered business, you can land yourself in some hot water. I always go by the mantra, just be transparent. Save some pictures of the damage, show the buyer exactly what they're getting, and let them make their own decision on if they want to purchase that car or not. A lot of you guys also say, oh, I've had this car, I rebuilt it, it's been so much. Listen, always factor in the going prices of your car. Do your research before you bid, so you know how much you can bid. Keep your budget low. If you've got a car like this car, I knew for a fact this was gonna make bank. I knew I had a massive margin to undercut and get it nice enough that it's just too good to give up. If you've got your prices set correctly, they will go. If you're just transparent, the car will sell. You just have to be patient. And saying that, I've got a Nissan Juke that I've been holding on to for God knows how long, and it hasn't sold, but you have to be patient. The right buyer will come, and the right buyer will purchase your car. Just don't overspend, don't go too far, and don't go for like big fancy cars or cars that you really like. Get cars that are getting in the market at the moment. A lot of Kias, there's a lot of EV, there's a lot of family vehicles are really selling. Just do a bit of market research and you'll be all good. But for today, it's all about wrapping up this video. I hope you found it informative. I hope you got something from the video. But anyway, no more talking. Let me get down to business, and I'm sure that's what a lot of you guys are here for. So I've got my phone with me right here, and I'm just gonna break down a few prices. It's not a lot. I didn't have to spend too much on that particular car. Hold on. You guys know the full total price that I paid to get the car from Copart. I use my guy Jay from JA Transportations, as I've told you, and he gives me decent prices. I'm happy with that. But for all extensive purposes, let's just say we got the car delivered down to the garage for £9,400. After that, we had to get the light. The light was £300. We had to get the complete suspension corner. We picked that up for £200, and we had to get a new front bumper. We picked that up for £200 as it was, and then we sprayed it. I didn't have to pay for the labor costs. However, I spoke with Akil. If he was going to do that for someone, he would have charged them 1,500 quid. So we're going to add that in because I want you to see how much of a good deal this is. We're still going to add that in. So I'm going to do it right here in front of you guys. 94 plus 200 plus 200 plus 300 plus 15 equals £11,600. £11,600 all in if I was to be including the labor costs. However, as you've seen, I've done a lot of the work on my own, and Akil came in, he did a little spray job, you know, mates rates and that. But for now, I'll leave it as £1,500 for the labor, just for your own calculations at home. So 11,600 has got me that car back to showroom standard. I'm happy with the level of the finish that we've come to with that car. And I just agreed to sell that car for 18 grand, just shy of £18,000. Guys, showtime! Woo, 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 woo. £6,400 in the green. That's how you make bank. You make clever decisions. You always check the history of your car. That's why I included Car Vertical's discount code, so you can make sure. Don't do what I did when I bought a car, it was missing the engine. If I had done the checks, I would have known. Always take your time, try to do as much of the work as you can. Whoever said the salvage game was dead, it's all about making smart decisions, and if you make enough smart decisions, there's gonna be a smart outcome. I hope you enjoyed it. So this is where we're gonna wrap it up. It's getting a bit breezy out here now. I wanna go inside, relax, plan my next move. I've got something very exciting coming your way. If you follow me on Instagram, you would know what I'm talking about. But all of that's gonna come in the next video. Like I said, if you're watching this, you're not subscribed, 80% of you guys who watch my content day in, day out, weekly, you're not subscribed to the channel. Please subscribe to the channel. It makes a difference. If you value what I'm doing, subscribe to the channel. Anyway, guys, I made bank. And like I said, if you enjoyed this video or if you've gained something from it, hit the like button because it really helps me and I'm trying to help you. So guys, this is where we're gonna head off. I'm gonna wrap it up here, and like I always say, keep it moving, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that, why don't you check out one of my previous videos on the left? There's plenty in the playlist. And if you want to know more about the Salvage game, why don't you become a member of Salvage Nation, and I'll be there to guide you along the way. And don't forget, you can follow me on Facebook, TikTok and Instagram if you want to get an inside scoop before YouTube.